This morning in my market update, I mentioned the cap-weighted S&P 500 outperformed its equal-weighted cousin by over 1% yesterday. So if you haven't seen my market update yet, go check it out. But let's talk about the difference between a cap-weighted index and an equal-weighted index. So to make this easier, you can think of it like Congress. A cap-weighted index is like the House of Representatives. In the House, states with bigger populations get more representatives. California has 52, while Wyoming only has 1. And that's because influence in the House is based on size. A cap-weighted index works the same way. Bigger companies with larger market capitalizations like Apple, Microsoft, or Nvidia carry more weight. So if Apple's stock moves, it can swing the entire index, whereas smaller companies can barely make a dent. This is how the traditional S&P 500 is structured. Now, an equal-weighted index is like the Senate. So if you think about the Senate, every state gets 2 senators, no matter how big or small the state is. And that's the idea behind an equal-weighted index. Each company gets the same level of influence, whether it's a trillion-dollar tech giant or a mid-sized manufacturer. So if a small company rallies, it impacts the index just as much as a big company rallying would. And this gives a more balanced view of how the average stock is performing. So why does this matter? Let's say tech stocks are booming, but the rest of the market is struggling. A cap-weighted index might look strong because of those few tech giants, which are soaring. But an equal-weighted index would reveal the broader weakness. So a real-world example, yesterday we saw the cap-weighted S&P 500 outperform the equal-weighted version by over 1%, thanks to big gains from Google and Nvidia. But if you look under the surface, most stocks yesterday were actually down. And this is a classic case of narrow market breadth where only a few names are driving performance. The takeaway for investors, if you're investing in index funds or tracking market health, it's really important to know which version you're looking at. Cap-weighted indices show where money is concentrated. Equal-weighted indices show how the average company is doing. They're both really useful, but they tell very different stories. So the next time someone says the S&P 500 is up, remember if they're talking about their traditional cap-weighted index, that doesn't necessarily mean that most companies are doing well. In fact, it could be the opposite. Just a few big companies could be carrying the team.